Hey guys, I'm the Burke and I do things. And today's video, I have no idea when it's actually going up, if it's going up pre-baby, post-baby. I'm just throwing together some extra videos just to fill in some time gaps. I truly am at this point in the day in my pajamas. I've had my makeup on for more hours than I remember, but I wanted to get another video filmed today. And I thought I could do this one, which is talking about makeup products I'm pretty sure that all came out during 2020 that I do not regret not buying. I really enjoy watching like regret type videos. I know Samantha March does a lot of them. I know a lot of creators do similar types of videos, but I thought it would be fun to like, you know, drink some tea and talk some tea about why there were certain launches in 2020 that maybe they caught my eye but I did not wind up pulling the plug. A lot of it has to do with that I did try to start keeping an inventory this past year. So I was a lot more conscious of the purchases I was making this past year. So if you're interested in seeing some of the launches from 2020 that I do not regret not buying, then keep on watching. Let's go. So I have some decaf green tea here. It's still a little too hot to drink. And if you guys do enjoy this video and want to see more in the future, please let me know. I didn't actually count how many items I put on my list, but I will try to include photos of everything I'm talking about in this video right here. And a lot of these are not necessarily throwing shade at products and brands, but I just tried to be a reasonable human when making some of my purchases this year. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. So the first thing I want to talk about is from Colourpop. There is two. I think I limited myself to two Colourpop collections in this video. The first is the Raw Beauty Kristi collaboration. 2020 was Kristi's year. I love Kristi. I admire Kristi. I have a lot of respect for Kristi. I bought her Pure palette. It's a really nice palette. It's maybe not necessarily my aesthetic, which is one of the reasons I wound up not going for the Colourpop collection, because there is this feeling when you are in this kind of influencer space that you really need to support every influencer collab to be a good influencer partner, friend, buddy. I don't know what the word is, but this palette, first of all, is mainly mattes, which is kind of one of my things I realized with the Pure palette was Kristi really likes mattes, and I am more of a one matte and a lot of shimmer person. Two, the palette has a lot of deep mattes, which I'm not necessarily a dark eyeshadow kind of person, and I don't like to make a lot of Colourpop orders, and I didn't feel like I needed to buy this collab to be happy for Kristi, because the collab was perfect. The collab was totally Kristi, and everything about it makes me happy, but I know it's not something I will use, and I don't think Kristi was putting it out expecting every single subscriber to want and need this palette. Now the Super Shocks are honestly what interested me the most about the collection, but I didn't want to place a Colourpop order just for the Super Shocks, and I try not to make too many Colourpop purchases too frequently, and I know that I don't even use the Super Shocks I currently have in my collection, so I didn't feel like I needed to do this. And literally I think the week before this palette came out was maybe when the Colourpop The Child palette came out, and I had just made that order, so like the timelines didn't line up. And as cool and as pretty as I think this collection is, I knew it wasn't for me, so I don't regret that I didn't buy it and support Kristi, because watching her videos is a huge way of supporting her. I'd already bought the other palette that she had done earlier in the year, so I definitely had some FOMO with this one, but I feel like it's one of those products where I would have bought it for a video and then never touched it again, honestly. And that's the tea. It's a good temperature now. Okay, the next product is the Dose of Colors Cutting Edge palette. I mean, like, talk about a palette where I looked at it and I was like, that's beautiful. That's really pretty. Well, let me tell you something. I've gotten two Dose of Colors palettes. I got the Baked Browns and the Sassy Siennas. I have since decluttered. The Sassy Siennas was not my style. I do have the Baked Browns though. I never reach for that palette, and that is a neutral palette. So the likelihood of me reaching for a green palette, probably not that likely. I bought the Colourpop The Child palette, and even that one is a little bit too adventurous for me. It's beautiful, it's fun to work with, but like, it's definitely not going to be my most reached for palette for sure. It's not going to be my everyday palette. So like, I had to understand that while the Dose of Colors palette was pretty and I could admire it from afar, it didn't mean I had to go out and buy it. So I didn't. And that's the tea. Okay, one more Colourpop collection we can talk about is the Candyland collection. And wow, they hit you right in the childhood with that one, didn't they? They're really good at it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more 90s nostalgia. I feel like kids are really into Polly Pockets these days, and I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we see Polly Pockets soon because of the success that Too Faced had with those little heart blushes that kind of look like Polly Pockets. I'm predicting a Polly Pockets collab with Colourpop soon. Anyway, this is beautiful. I wouldn't say that the eyeshadow palette jumped out to me specifically because the color story really wasn't a color story that interested me to begin with, but just like the lip balms and the little rollerball gloss, like all the nostalgia hit so hard. Like I was that kid that had like everything rollerball lip gloss, rollerball glitter eyeshadow, the little lip products where like you would like click it open and like slide the lip product up the side. Like I had it all. I was a very makeup loving child, and I did not hear the best reviews on some of these lip products. Had I heard great reviews on those lip products though, I might own some now, but I didn't. So I examined self-control, but wow, did they really flop with this collection? If they do Polly Pockets, please do it well. That's all I can say. And that's the tea. Okay, next, like I forgot this came out in 2020. That is how wild 2020 has been. The Blenderful. Putting all drama aside, I watched the launch video and I thought, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Like, that looks awesome. Like, I thought all the thoughts, but all I kept thinking was, I'm not gonna wanna wash that a lot. Like, I buy tons of sponges and brushes because I'm so lazy about how often I wanna wash things. So I'm not gonna wanna wash it. That's all I kept thinking was how much I wasn't gonna wanna wash it. And you know, not to be super shady, but I don't feel like a lot of people, now I'm not saying everyone, I do see people sometimes using their Blenderfuls, but like I don't see everyone applying every single product now with their Blenderful on the different points of the triangle, flipping it back and forth like they were early in 2020. So I feel like I didn't miss out on that one. And that's the tea. Okay, another collection that was super hyped up this year was the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop collection. Now, these palettes and like the looks I've seen with them have been fantastic, honestly. And you know, I'm glad to see that BH Cosmetics is back on the radar and they're doing well because I've been a fan of their products for years. Like, I love their bronzers. I have palettes of theirs that I love. Their brushes are top notch. But these Sweet Shop palettes really, really hit the scene. There was a neutral one too, and I didn't even get tempted by that one. But even like the colorful ones that looked pretty, like the whole monochromatic thing, like I have a couple of the Colourpop monochromatic palettes and I know how often I use them. So even though these had great reviews, they looked so cute, they looked fun, they were such a hot item this year, I knew that I wasn't going to use them enough to justify buying them, but definitely in 2021 I will be on the lookout for BH Cosmetics. I also am planning on doing this same video but with products I regret not buying this year, and there may have been a BH Cosmetics product on that list whenever I get around to filming it. Oh, sorry. And that's the tea. Okay, this next thing is not a collection, but Rare Beauty. Rare Beauty came out this year. Selena Gomez's brand, big deal, big launch, gigantic launch I'd actually say, because like they just started with almost an entire collection of makeup. But I don't know what it was about Rare Beauty, but it never intrigued me from the beginning. I watched tons of people reviewing the products. I've heard very mixed reviews on a lot of the products, and none of them have really made me want to try anything from the brand. I don't know why. It's weird because like a lot of times like price is a big factor for me, at least when it comes to products sold at Sephora, but honestly Rare Beauty isn't that far off from some drugstore brands these days. But something about it just, I still don't have an interest in anything. I mean, maybe 2021 will be the year where something is launched from the brand and I'm like, that's what I've been waiting for, right there. But so far, not the foundation, not the concealer, not the blush. Maybe the liquid highlight seems interesting, but like I have liquid highlights and I never reach for them. The souffle lips have seemed really pretty, but like being pregnant, these don't like drying lip products. Not the eyeliner, not the eyeshadow palettes, like just nothing has very much even given me a double take. So that's the tea. Okay, this one is a collection that definitely gave me a double take. It is the Kylie Grinch collection. Talking about hitting you in the childhood. I love The Grinch. It's one of the very few movies I really requested that we watch this holiday season. The original, of course. And, you know, some companies try to do a concept, like when Pure did a Grinch collab, and it just misses the mark by a mile. Kylie, for the most part, is known for how well her packaging hits a theme. Just right on the bullseye. That being said, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's how disconnected a lot of people are with how most of us normal folks live in the world, especially during a global pandemic. And I think I mentioned this in my brands I wanted to try in 2020 video, but I don't feel a drive to put more money in those people's pockets. So your packaging is cute. I can respect that, but I don't want to give you my money. And that's the tea. Okay, this is sort of a, okay, let me just explain this. I'm really glad that in 2020, I did not buy any of the Lights Lacquer's like seasonal collections that they put out. I think they put out a collection every season typically. I'm so glad I didn't do that. And what I did instead was I waited until the end of the year, and then I picked out 5 from all of her collections and bought them. And I've been so happy with all of the shades I've tried so far. And I'm so glad I didn't just settle for like, this collection's so cute, but I don't know if I'm gonna use that one or that one. Like, I'm so glad I waited and just picked out a bunch. And like today, I'm actually wearing Cold Turkey, which I think might have been part of the fall collection. But I don't know, I'm just glad that I waited and exhibited patience, which I don't always have patience, but I'm proud of myself. And I'm glad I did not just jump on every single collection and overwhelm myself with too much new nail polish and waited until I was ready to make my decisions. And that's the tea. Okay, this one, like, this doesn't even feel real. I really like mini eyeshadow palettes. Quads are adorable. I love them. But why did Haus Labs come out with quads that were $24? Huh? First of all, nothing from Haus Labs has really intrigued me to begin with. But when I first saw quads, I was like, hey, I like quads. And there's a giant collection, like there's a lot to choose from. But $24? Natasha Denona is $25 for 5. Why would I pay $24 for Lady Gaga's brand? I just did not understand that price point at all. I could not get down with that number. It just made no sense to me. And that's the tea. Let's talk Natasha Denona. So earlier this year, I did buy the Mini Glam palette. So in 2019, I bought the Mini Nude, and this year I bought the Mini Glam palette. But I'm really glad I didn't wind up buying any of her bigger palettes. So this year she came out with the Love palette, the Bronze, the Glam, and the Trichrome. I'm pretty sure those were the 4. I just admire the beauty of the palettes, but I know how little I reach for palettes of that size, even how the smaller ones are smaller. I know I never reach for palettes of that size. And even the thought of spending like $65, convincing myself that I was getting a good deal by spending $65 on a palette, which that has never happened in my life, which is interesting. She tricks you into thinking $65 is a really good deal. Let's not get into that. But I'm really glad I wound up not getting any of these. I think if I had picked out any, it would have been the Glam palette, but even that, I probably would have used like the same 2 shadows, just like I do with every palette, where I pick like a transition shade I really like and a shimmer I really like and be done with it. So I'm glad I didn't wind up buying any of these. I don't even know if I'd buy them if they went on sale. I don't have the FOMO. Like, I remember the first time I visually saw the Glam palette on Instagram and having like the whoa moment, but like that faded quickly, and I'm okay. I don't need it. I'm good. And that's the tea. Okay, the next eyeshadow palette I do not regret not buying is the Kissa palette from e.l.f. Cosmetics. I have been a fan of Kissa for so many years. She's maybe one of the first influencers I used to follow. I think she's such a sweet person. She's such a kind person. She's an animal lover. Like, I just love everything about her. She's very talented, very creative, but I knew a rainbow palette with 3 rows of rainbow shades was not for me. And I felt guilt, again, similar to Christy, that I didn't want to buy this, even though I wanted to be able to support her. So I did wind up actually buying the brush collab because brushes are something I know I'll use. So I was happy to be able to support her that way, but I still always had like this little bit of sadness that I didn't buy that palette to support her. So it happens, but I probably, again, would have used this once for a video and then never again. So it's best that I didn't buy it, but there's still always that little feeling of, dang, I wish I could financially, you know, be supportive of everyone on this platform, but that's just not possible. And that's the tea. Okay, next is the Huda Beauty Khaki Haze palette. Let's talk. I have a bunch of the Mini Obsessions palettes. They're cute, they're fun. This khaki one is cute. And I mentioned it earlier, but I don't wear green eyeshadow all that often. Yet for some reason, whenever little tiny green palettes come out, I can't help but think, I need that. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews on this palette and it doesn't seem like it's gotten the greatest reviews, which is pretty common, it seems like, with the Huda Obsessions palette. It seems like they either get good reviews or bad reviews. There seems to be a lack of consistency with the palettes, with her smaller palettes. And I can totally attest to that. I have 3 from her original launch that are all great. And I have 1 from the Gemstones collection, and it does not feel like the same quality at all. So I'm glad I didn't jump on the khaki palette. 1, because I probably would have never worn it, and 2, I probably would have been really annoyed with the quality of it. So that's the tea. Okay, I have 1 more product to talk about in this video. Again, let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. But let's talk about something that launched January this year, maybe? Because I remember I almost considered getting one for my birthday. The Fenty Snap Shadows. Again, little palette, 6 pans. I remember I was between, do I want to get the Fenty Snap Shadow for my birthday or the Natasha Denona Mini Glam for my birthday? Looks like I made the right choice. These palettes have not gotten 1 good review that I've seen, which I guess overall I haven't seen the greatest reviews of Fenty's eyeshadow formula in general, but man, did they almost get me with that little cute mini packaging. They really did. I was close. I was close to doing a treat yourself. But alas, I did not, and I have no regrets. And that's the tea. So I hope you enjoyed this little fun, silly video. This video was not made with any ill intent to hurt anyone or offend anyone. It was just a fun little idea. Like I said, I do plan to do a similar video, but with products I regret not buying in 2020. So that'll be fun. Also, let me know what products you do not regret not buying this past year. Let us know in the comments. Maybe we all have something in common. And yeah, that is it for this video. As usual, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I have my Twitter and my Instagram down below. Give them a follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!